Time for another edition of Prediction Markets Edge. I'm Donnie Rightside. He is Joe Raineri. And over the next half hour, we got hot topics that you need to know about and also different ways you can possibly invest your money here, Joe. Love to talk to you. Love these topics. Let's have a great show.
And it's a great month as we say goodbye to February. A lot of great sports, a lot of great markets opening up that we absolutely should take advantage of, Donnie.
A lot of fun we had, certainly, with the Winter Olympics, Joe. But as you said, the weather's getting a little bit more and warmer, and baseball is on our minds. And how about this? You said, hold on now. March 25th, that's when the regular season of the baseball season starts. Not so fast. The World Baseball Classic is on deck, Joe. And how about this from Kalshi? The Classic winner? Certainly, you can invest in it. United States, 52% chance. Japan, who is the champions? 22%. Dominican Republic, 19%. Venezuela and Mexico follow with 4% and 3% chances. Investing in the U.S., Joe, to win this. Smart decision?
Yeah, well, I mean, at 52 cents, it's the ultimate Patriot premium, isn't it not, Donnie? Since the WBC is played in March, we all know pitchers are on strict pitch counts. The tournament relies heavily on single elimination variants here. And we know who's coming back from Japan, as you mentioned, the defending champs, right? You got Ohtani, you got Yamamoto, you got a ridiculous deep roster of elite pitching, and yet they're trading at less than half the price at 22 cents of Team USA. And don't sleep on the Dominican Republic, as you got Soto, Guerrero Jr., Machado.
Yep.
That's just 19 cents. And I hate to say it, Donnie, but USA at 52 cents, I'm looking to short it. I'm not going to tie up over half of the capital I have on a single elimination baseball tournament favorite. That's just terrible portfolio management. I think Japan at 22 cents and Dominican Republic at 19.
Yes.
Yep, I like the equity I have there. Fade Team USA here.
Now, we just saw the men's hockey tournament in the Olympics finish up in a lot of team pride with Team USA and certainly Team Canada. It means a lot to those nations. The United States, like baseball is our game, right? So the expectations are now that we're taking it seriously with a full roster, they should be the favorites. But Japan has already knocked us off. And understand this. This isn't like a best-of-7 series that we get to. You either win or you're going to get knocked out. In the Dominican Republic, there's going to be a lot of national pride there. They're trading at 19% right now, Joe. A $100 investment on Kalshi on the Dominican Republic would pay back $527. Let's get to the regular season in Major League Baseball and the champion of the regular season. Most people think it's going to be those Los Angeles Dodgers here, trading on Kalshi at 32% here. You take a look at a chance for Seattle at 11% and the New York Yankees at 9%. The question is always going to be, Joe, when do you jump in on the Dodgers, or you actually fade the Dodgers?
Yeah, I mean, 162 game season is a war of attrition, Donnie. We know that, with injuries and bullpen issues and scheduling slumps. And I mean, anything is possible, but I'm sorry. I mean, this is another one of those markets where I am looking to short the Dodgers at this price. Classic value investing. You never buy an asset at its absolute ceiling before the season ever begins. There's just too much variance in a 162-game season to figure that they are just once again going to have the most wins when it's all said and done.
And by the way, also, Joe is right about this, too, because the contracts that we talk about here, when you open them up, you don't have to ride this out for the majority of the season. I mean, the Dodgers could be the most profitable team in baseball here and say, wait a second, what do you mean, Donnie? They didn't win anything here. Well, if they're so far and away the leaders in the month of August heading into September, you can cash out that contract already with plus money in your pocket. But understand this, too. The Dodgers are such a favorite that you're getting extreme discounts, Joe, in the National League. You take a look at teams like the New York Mets trading at 7%, Atlanta trading at 6%, the Philadelphia Phillies at 6%, and even the Cubs revamped their roster at 5%. Joe, you can take out a contract on either one of those teams here, and if any one of those actually win the championship here and knock off the Dodgers, that's an extreme profit in your pocket here.
I agree. I mean, we know come October, Donnie, it's the most chaotic. It's the postseason baseball, high variance, wild card teams consistently get hot, eliminate the teams that you think are just going to run the table. And I don't know, call me crazy here. I think maybe the Yankees and maybe even a team like the Braves might be worth an investment, because you don't have to see it through, but they may get hot enough in order to be able to increase that bankroll.
And how many times have we seen it, Joe? It's really about that team that's going to get hot in late September and carry it over into the playoffs, because those early rounds, the 3 games, the 5 games, not the 7 games, those are the ones that can do some damage here, and we see some of those upsets. I'll tell you, he's not going to be pulling very many upsets here, Joe. Worst record in professional baseball this year. Is it any surprise? It's the Colorado Rockies. They're trading, Joe, at 60%. The next team in line is the Washington Nationals at 15%, followed by the Angels at 12%, and there's the Chicago White Sox at 9%. These teams feel like they'll be lucky to get the 60 wins, but Colorado feels like the white flag, Joe, up already.
Yeah, but regression works both ways, Donnie, right? I mean, you know how difficult it is for a major league franchise to lose 115 plus games in back-to-back seasons? To me, I think the White Sox is the value here at that price. They're still in a massive multi-year rebuild and have proven that they are capable of historic failure, Donnie, on a lot of levels. I'm investing in the White Sox at that price. I am looking to short Colorado, Donnie. I'm sorry, paying that kind of price on a premium for a team to be the worst in a bad business for what? 2 years in a row? I'm not buying it here. I think positive regression coming for Colorado.
Let's go heads to tails here, Joe, and take a look at the best record in professional baseball. We just told you the Dodgers probably are going to win the World Series, at least trading like they should do that. It's a different animal here from the regular season to the postseason. Much harder to win the championship because it's more of a sprint here. But over the summer, Joe, talent does win out. Depth does win out. And by the way, the Dodgers last year did not have the best overall record in baseball. That was the Brewers. But they're trading at 61% right now, Joe, to have the best record in baseball. $100 investment on Kalshi will pay you back $164. I actually do believe the Dodgers will have the best record in baseball. Will they win the championship? That's a different story.
Well, the problem is, at that price, Donnie, you're telling me they're going to sleepwalk to 105 or more wins. And we know, just like last year, I don't see that happening either. I mean, anything, again, 162-game season is an absolute war of attrition, and too many injuries, too many issues come in. I think paying 61, 62 cents, you're assuming perfect health for aging superstar. Let's face the core of the Dodgers right now, the Freemans of the world. Anything is possible. I still think there's value down the board here. I think Seattle's got value. I think the Yankees have value. I think the American League has value here.
It's a long baseball season. We'll see how it plays out. The only question is, it's a long baseball season. It will end with the World Series champion, but will we have a CBA, Joe, in place by December 1st on Poly Market? You can wager on this. How about this, Joe? 51% chance as of Thursday, February 26th. You know where it's trading now? 20% chance. Dropping like a rock. Joe, no way, shape, or form we have a CBA by next December 1st. No shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fundamental indicators are absolutely screaming that there's going to be a work stoppage here. I mean, the owners are aggressively pushing for the salary cap, basically to combat the Dodgers spending here, which is a non-starter for the union, Donnie. Not to mention the union is currently dealing with internal turmoil, still being investigated. They got a guy stepping down. They got a new guy in there. I mean, the moment the owners put the word salary cap on the negotiating table, a December 1st deal becomes legally impossible as far as I'm concerned. Invest in the lockout.
Falling off the shelf. You see that graphic right there, Joe? Boom, bottom, absolutely drop back. And if you do invest $100 there in the CBA marketplace, Joe, and they don't have one agreed upon by December 1st, 2026, you get $106.50 back in your pocket. $6.50, man. Maybe you could buy yourself, I don't know, a couple slices of pizza with that at this point. But for me, Joe, for a league with organizations that struggle in doing anything on time, just look at the free agency that they go through. There is no way that once the season ends in early November, in less than a month, they're going to have a CBA worked out, when you're looking at Armageddon where one team side, let's just say the Major League Baseball Players Union, they don't want any caps. The other side goes like, oh yeah, Joe, you're getting a cap.
Yeah, no, baseball labor disputes are never solved early. Capitalize on the naive investors that are hoping for peace, Donnie. It ain't happening.
Hoping for a piece. Armageddon on deck. Prediction Markets Edge will continue after the break. Basketball talk is coming up on deck next. Michigan at a 57% chance right now, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston. Here's the interesting caveat, Joe, for Michigan, who's the favorite right now. On February the 8th at 5 a.m., they were trading at 40%. Today, 57%. People like themselves some Michigan here.
Well, Donnie, exactly, because Michigan, it just vaulted themselves to number one in the AP poll.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago? How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Labor disputes on Prediction Markets Edge. And how about this, Joe? It used to be in the past, FanDuel, DraftKings, you can't wager on this or invest anything in here. You can with the predictive markets, and that's what makes it so interesting here, Joe. Let's get to the WNBA. How about this question up here on Polymarket? New WNBA CBA agreement by with a question mark. March 31st, trading at 50% right now. June 30th chance, 39% for me. I don't think they start on time. So I doubt that we're going to get one from March 31st. But there is news and notes that the WNBA players are having spirited, interesting meetings on whether or not they can get a deal done, Joe. Where are we going? Where's the investment in the WNBA CBA for you?
Well, part of me feels like we're never getting a deal done here. But also, keep in mind, you've got, from the owner's perspective here, you've got a situation where I don't think it makes any sense for them not to capitalize from a monetary perspective on getting something done sooner rather than later, Donnie. Why? Because you've got TV ratings through the roof. There's money and revenue to be made for the owners for the first time here. So are they willing to throw that all out to the window? Because you and I both know if the season doesn't start in time, out of sight, out of mind, that's a PR nightmare, and all of that goodwill and money that could have been made is out the window. So I get why people are thinking that it's probably a 50-50 shot. I tend to agree with it because I think for the owners, if they plan on making any money, now is the time that you better hurry up and get this thing done by March 31st.
Yeah, I take a look at June 30th, Joe. About $4,000 in volume right now placed on this on Poly market to the yes. It's a 39% chance, but it's trading at 69%. But again, also, at the same time, $100 investment here is only going to pay back $113. I do think they'll miss some time. But as Joe points out, all that momentum you would just give up if you wipe out the entire season. Then you're right about, is the WNBA ever coming back at this point? Which brings us up to the next question, Joe. On Kalshi here, how many games will be played in the pro women's basketball season this year? At least 100%, a 63% chance. I don't think that happens here. 90%, 75%, 50% are all down there, Joe. For me, though, I do think they miss some time. I would be shocked if they start the season on time and play every single game, Joe. I would.
The problem is, and that's where I would look, Donnie, the problem is I think if you lose games, and right now the market is pricing roughly 25 to 30% as a chance of a lockout cutting into the regular season. But we know, the owners are not stupid. You've got a unprecedented ticket sales in your back pocket, national TV slots, mainstream momentum. anything that stands in a way between starting the season and playing every game is money out of their pocket here. So, if you think there's a good chance, Donnie, that they can get this deal done by March 31st, I'd invest in the 100% to get that. They're going to play every game. They're going to get it done before it's all. They're not going to miss any time because missing time means losing money to the owners.
Maybe a Back to the Future segment here, Joe, when this all gets down here to see if Joe Raineri was right and or wrong in that market here. If you think they're going to play at least 50% of the games, which I think should be a benchmark for them, a $100 investment pays back $125. They can't wipe out the entire season and maybe just a sprint to the finish. They'll play games. The matter of it, though, how many games will they actually play? Let's go over to men's college basketball, Joe, in the Big East. How about the regular season champion here? It's going to come down to UConn and St. John's. Currently, UConn with a 60% chance and up about 25% over the past couple days. Why? Because UConn absolutely flatlined St. John's. If you still like St. John's here, they're trading at 39%. And if you feel they can maybe pull up the upset and win the Big East regular season championship, a $100 investment, Joe, would pay back $257.
This is the one volatility market that we have here, Donnie, just simply because it's down to these two teams and the schedules don't get easier here down the stretch. Yep. So it feels like great win by UConn. They split the season series against the Johnnies the other night, but something tells me the value still lies in Patino and the Johnnies in this one.
Now, the SEC is a different story for us here. It's going to come down to the stretch. Florida, I believe, Joe, has a 2-game advantage over Arkansas and is trading at 92% as a chance to win the regular season. You want some Starbucks money that's not going to have to wait too long to pay off, Joe? We're not talking about holding this in October all the way through till late February or March here. You only got 1 week left in the season. A $100 investment in Florida to win the regular season in the SEC pays back $109. Oh, that's not worth it. Sounds like a free 9 to me, Joe.
It does, but I mean, listen, it's a rolled ankle in practice might actually wipe out your port. I would be careful here, just simply because it's college. You don't know, but pricing anything at 90 cents at this point, even with a 2-game lead, Donnie, with still a couple of games to go, to me, it's just not worth the risk at this point.
Look at that. Come on now, Joe. Don't poo-poo my portfolio right now. Let's get over to the Big 12 regular season champion. Sort of feels the same in the SEC as it does out there for Arizona in the Big 12. They're trading at 91%, up 64% on their chance. A $100 investment, only pay back $108, but they have a couple games lead with a few games left. I do think they win it, but the question, Joe, would you invest in it?
Well, that's the same situation. At this price point, Donnie, at this point in the season, they're pretty much telling you it's over. And them having beaten Houston at home last week pretty much solidified that unless something injury-wise or crazy happens here, it looks like Arizona going to get it done here. I don't think Houston is going to overtake them here in the regular season anyway.
Now, if we keep rolling the dice, Joe, the SEC, I think Florida's going to take it down. The Big 12, it's going to be Arizona. How about the ACC? The other heavy favorite, it's those Duke Blue Devils. A chance of 89% right now. A $100 investment pays back $113. So, Joe, if I can hit the SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC, now we upgrade from coffee to pizza, Joe. Lay the money. You got to spend money to make money, as I like to say, Joe. Come on now.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, at that price, it's pretty much the market's telling you it is over, folks. And listen, I can make the argument it's been over for quite some time here with Duke here. They are, without a doubt, the best team in the ACC and will, based upon the schedule remaining, likely not lose another game in the regular season.
And, of course, we've got to end the segment talking about who's going to actually win the college basketball championship, Joe. Men's college basketball champion. Right now, at a 21% chance. It's Michigan, followed by Duke, Arizona, and Florida. The teams that we think are going to be the number 1 overall seeds, heavily factored in. But keep in mind, again, Joe, it's not 7 games, not 3 games. It's 1 game. You play bad one time in the tournament, you're out. Who do you take here? Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Florida? Or is another team lurking at a great price?
I am looking at the UConns at 7 cents or the Houstons of the world at 9 cents because I'm getting blue chip programs for 7 to 9 cents on the dollar. And that is how you build a profitable futures portfolio.
And how about if Kansas's superstar wants to play? $100 investment pays back $2,500.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too? And what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago, how much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Prediction Markets Edge, Donnie, Rightside, and Joe Raineri right here on the SportsGrid Network here. Sometimes, Joe, we take these futures out and we say, you know what? We got to revisit some of these situations. How about a little back to the futures right here? But if we do look at the Kalshi Markets right now, to win the gold medal, which country will do that? Canada is the favorite, and rightfully so, trading at a 51% chance. Here's the interesting part, Joe. 51% trading for yes, 51% trading to no. So if you invest $100 on the yes, pays back $197. $100 on the no, pays back $197. Found that pretty interesting right there. Joe, do we gas up the no? Do we fade Canada? Do we take the United States? Some people will never know, but I'll tell you right now. Of course we did. National pride, Joe, right?
Yeah, and listen, I mean, either way, right? That it was almost pick 'em price at that point, right? You got whether you were yes or no. It don't feel like you lost more because you backed the favorite because you didn't at that price, Donnie. Yeah, that's a pick 'em price. That was a pretty good bet either way for a game that ended up in overtime.
Connor McDavid, considered the Jesus Christ of the NHL and certainly the savior there of the Oilers, yet to win a Stanley Cup. But how about this question for the savior? Will Jesus Christ return before 2027, which means the last day of December 2026? Will he come back? It's only trading at a 4% chance. Now, I like to take a look at this and say, okay, if you invest your funds in saying he is going to come back, that's a $100 investment that's going to pay back $2,631. If you invest $100 to the no, obviously you're barely getting anything back. But my question to you, Joe, is if Jesus does return before 2026, is money going to even matter at that point?
Exactly. Invest your entire remaining bankroll in the no at 96 cents. It is the ultimate risk-free 4% yield. It operates exactly like a government bond, but only better. And by the way, if you lose, well, you won't be around to have to pay anybody anyway. So it's a win-win situation for me, Donnie.
And by the way, here's the only caveat that you might have, Joe. Who actually decides if Jesus Christ comes back here? Is it just one random guy that was walking through the woods in Appalachia here in the United States that goes, I saw him here, and Polymarket and Kalshi go, yeah, that sounds about right? Or is it the guy in Buenos Aires that goes, you know what? I was having a late night snack, looked out the window. He was right there, Joe. Who gets final say if he comes back? And also, does he have to host a press conference? What happens?
Yeah, I would definitely read the fine print in this market just to make sure that he doesn't have to, somebody claims he's on a Cheez-It somewhere. Like, I think you need to make sure that you understand what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, at 4%, I'm shocked it's at 4 cents, to be honest, because I got no problem investing in that side of the market.
Fantastic stuff here, Joe. Now it's time to get political, and the midterms are coming up here. And that is going to start soon, where you're going to start to get primaried here. Here's the question. How many Senate Republicans will lose their primaries this year? This isn't actually winning the actual race against a Democrat. This is your own party here, Joe. 1, listed at a 22% chance. 2, at 59%. 3 at 10%. Usually you don't get primary, but in this day and age, you got a president out there that if you're not backing, he might send somebody to primary you. How about that?
It appears we got a massive, 61-cent premium on exactly 2 Republican incumbents losing their primary here. And this crazy. Is all depending on who is betting into the market, right? We know primary elections are totally chaotic, and pinpointing an exact number on casualties in a volatile midterm cycle, that's terrible math and terrible investing here. Absolutely not. This is one of those markets where you need to be very, very careful, because it's also going to change based upon polling and what the headlines read as we get closer.
And of course, not as many senators that are in the House that will represent. So also, how many House Republicans will lose their primaries this year? And you see, 7 or more, Joe, is trading as the favorite at 41%. Many more people up. And also, if you're not doing what your constituents want, they always threaten you. We'll primary you if you don't vote this way here. And it looks like many are going to do that, Joe.
Yeah, well, and this is a good time where you can have multiple bets in here, Donnie, in fact, that you can look at and go, you know what? I think let the chaos reign. I would be looking to fade all the favorites in this spot and look to cash on a few of the other ones, because usually incumbents survive, Donnie. That's how it usually works here.
How about the balance of power here? Coming up in 250 or so days, we'll know that the Democrats keep the House or take back the House, so the Republicans keep the Senate. Do you know what the favorite is, Joe? For the Democrats to take back the House from the Republicans, but the Republicans to keep the Senate at 45%. Usually in midterms with a newly elected president here, it usually swings back the balance of power. I do think the favorite is correct here, Joe. 45% chance. I'll put an investment there on the yes, that the Dems get the House, but the Republicans keep the Senate.
Well, but the problem is here, it looks like if the GOP manages to hold on to the razor-thin majority in the House, they're going to hold the Senate, given the map here and how the math works out. So 17 cents might not be a bad investment.
Prediction Market Edge, Donnie and Joe. We'll see you again soon.
Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. If you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago? How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Michigan at a 57% chance right now, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston. Here's the interesting caveat, Joe, for Michigan, who's the favorite right now. On February the 8th at 5 a.m., they were trading at 40%. Today, 57%. People like themselves some Michigan here.
Well, Donnie, exactly, because Michigan, it just vaulted themselves to number 1 in the AP poll.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.